My first guest is Jackie Cassagnol, the founder and president of Worldwide Community First Responder, a not-for-profit here in Rockland. Welcome, Jackie.
Hi, how are you?
Thanks so much for being our guest on this program.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. I was surprised.
Well,
Thank you.
you know, you shouldn't be. I mean, Worldwide Community First Responder is a great organization, and I know that you've just recently had a gala. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get to it, but we thought it'd be great to get you on the program and kind of introduce your not-for-profit through the program to the residents of Clarkstown who may not be familiar with it.
Right. Thank you.
So, Jackie, let's talk just a little bit about yourself first. You're a nursing professional. How long have you lived here in Rockland County?
20 years.
And where'd you come from?
Brooklyn. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, and I moved here to go to school. I graduated from high school. I was 16 years old, and I started going to school at Kingsborough Community College in Brooklyn, and I decided, well, I want to become a nurse, and I want to do it as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. So what's the first step in being a nurse is a licensed practical nurse. Mm-hmm. So I looked into different programs and found the LPN program at BOCES, mm-hmm. and did that, and then from then on I've been getting degrees. I'm still going to school right now. I'm doing my PhD now.
Oh, that's great. That's
PhD
great.
in nursing.
Oh, that's really great.
Yes.
So. And so you've been a nurse for a good number of years now. Right. So you've seen a lot of changes within the nursing profession as well.
A lot of changes.
Right.
A lot of good things.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Nurses are actually doing a lot more these days. Yes. You know, with the nursing professionals and nursing administrators.
Yes.
Really, they're kind of the backbone, if you will, of the medical industry.
In the medical field, yes, yeah. Yes. Well, what would doctors or anybody in the medical field do without us?
Right.
We are at the forefront, let's say. We're the first ones that see the patients, but not only that, now we're in leadership positions where we are leading a medical office, a whole, sometimes a hospital, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we've made a lot of progress, and I've seen a lot of changes in nursing since I started, and this was always my passion, to be a nurse. I always wanted to be a nurse. Like, most people don't know what they want to be at an early age, but I did. So.
Yeah, that's great. And you've really taken this to your involvement with nursing to a new level. So you founded WCFR, Worldwide Community First Responder. Just for the benefit of our viewers, explain what the organization does, what its mission is.
So Worldwide Community First Responder is a 501c3 nonprofit organization with a mission to prevent deaths worldwide through education and training. So we provide locally and abroad health education and training for first aid and first response, and train people as much as possible in disaster preparedness. As you know, disasters are happening every day around the world. So as much as possible, we teach and increase awareness of basic first aid and first response and things that you should know in case of emergency. Mm-hmm. To save a life, basically. Our motto is teaching people, saving lives. Mm-hmm. And we do that locally, and we're proud of it. We've been doing it for 6 years.
Yeah, I was going to ask, so you founded the organization about 6 years ago.
Right.
And maybe talk to us a little bit about some of the activities of the organization that you're able to do locally and internationally. So
our focus is the United States and Haiti. A little history behind WCFR. It was founded, I founded it after the earthquake in Haiti. When the earthquake happened, I was in Israel. Mm-hmm. And I found out by turning on the TV in Israel and finding that out. And my heart was broken because my parents are from Haiti. And I didn't know what to do. I made some phone calls, obviously. I called my parents, and my uncle has a house in Haiti, and he travels back and forth, and we couldn't get in touch with him. Eventually, we did get in touch with him, and I was back from Israel, but I felt like I had to do something. So what do you do as a healthcare professional? So what should I do? I look into different things, but I felt the best, especially has been a nursing professor, to educate on what again? To educate on what? So I went with other healthcare professionals and thought about disaster preparedness, first aid and first response. Well, while I was doing my training, one of the students stood up and said, if only we knew what you're teaching us right now, fewer people would have died during the earthquake.
Wow.
Still gives me goosebumps
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I knew then that I had to continue doing this type of work. So that's how WCFR got started.
That's great. And so you're really out there trying to educate and train folks and give them the knowledge and the tools necessary so that when they're confronted with a disaster in a situation, and unfortunately the news has been filled, just before we're filming this program with the hurricanes that have beset Texas and Florida
Right,
and
so
Puerto Rico,
sad, so sad.
and the scores of people that have died in those tragic incidents, and so there's some basic stuff that you can do. But so maybe talk to us a little about some of the things that you recommend for people to be prepared for a disaster.
So we encourage, one of the things that obviously communication is always a problem. So we encourage people to have a plan for communicating with your family. And it's very simple. Every day on a regular basis, because there are mankind disasters, as you know, and there are natural disasters. So in those cases, whichever, you're going to want to communicate with your family, especially with my uncle,
Right.
Make sure you have a plan. And it could be very simple. A plan to communicate, to see your family, and to call them, right? Calling them, you have to make sure your phone is always charged, right? Your phone is always charged. And when the disaster happens, not to use the phone as often as you would want to.
Right.
Leave a voicemail if you were to use that phone. Exchange phone numbers. So you're going to make a plan, right? A plan not to only communicate, but where to meet your loved ones. Sometimes the phones don't work.
Right.
A lot of cases, especially in Haiti, people were communicating with their family members through Facebook.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So have a plan. I encourage people to come to our trainings, obviously, because I'm not going to be telling you everything that you need to do here. But the communication, I think, is one of the most important things, because people want to hear from you. People want to know if you're okay. Have that communication plan. Have it planned. A phone, you should have a cell phone always charged. If you don't have a phone, you should have a plan how to have everything written out. That's another thing we tell, have everything written out in a piece of paper. Because if you don't have your phone, then if you find somebody that has a phone that works, then you could, because people don't remember these days. I don't remember. I think the only number that I remember is my brother's number, actually, by heart. Nobody else's.
It's true, because very, very many people just live by the directory they put in their phone. And, and you may talk to somebody every day, but you may not know what the number is, because it's just you're hitting their name and it's auto-dialing. I think you're hitting on a very valuable lesson, that the very first thing is, you need to have proper planning. And FEMA actually has some guidelines on this that we've actually done some work with, and I know your organization has as well, because I'm familiar with this from some of our discussions, where FEMA outlines some guidelines that talks about the need to prepare a plan.
That's right.
And when you go through that, you actually need to stockpile supplies, what you should have available to you, what you should be looking to do, what that plan should look like. It should include duplicate copies of identification.
That's right.
You should have a ready-to-go kit.
Yeah.
And I know that these are all things that...
Those are all the things that, and for September was Disaster Preparedness Month, and we had a disaster preparedness a training at our office. A go kit and a stay kit.
Right.
So in other words, you have a kit that, a backpack that in case of emergency you're running, you have everything in there, and another kit that's going to be at home kit.
Right.
And it has a whole list. In FEMA, we use FEMA's information. But it's going to be go kit and stay kits that are based on your needs.
Right.
Basics that that everybody needs, but like medication, you should have extra medication. You should have, if you're diabetic, right? You need your insulin or things like that.
Right, extra medication, extra prescriptions, but with the plan that you may not be able to get back into your house for whatever period of time, you need to be able to be prepared. Also, copies of identification,
birth certificates, because you might lose everything.
Right, you could, and it's an important thing that people need to really prepare and plan, because you never know.
You never know
when a disaster could befall a person, and it could be as simple as, God forbid, but a house fire. And if you have a bag ready to go with identification and with your essentials that you can just grab as you're grab it and go. That's the idea. I was speaking with a gentleman about 2 years ago who explained to me that he had just done one of these trainings, and that he had things prepared, and they had an issue at his house. And his house, had a significant structure fire, and he happened to grab his ready-to-go bag, and he said, "Thank God, because I had identification that was lost in the house fire, copies, but still it helped him, immediately." Right. And so it's really proper planning is really key and important. Right. So I know, Jackie, we're pretty much we're running out of time on this segment, but we do have a video that you provided. So maybe you could just kind of introduce the video, as we're concluding. Right.
So this is our campaign video that just premiered last Saturday at our 6th annual gala. And we're encouraging people to get involved, either by becoming a volunteer, becoming a member, becoming a donor, or a sponsor, and meeting our mission to prevent deaths worldwide through education.
Great. And if folks want to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
You could contact us at the 845-608-7409. You could always go on our Facebook page or our website at wcfrworldwide.org, wcfrworldwide.org.
Right. So, Jackie, I want to thank you for being such a wonderful guest. Also, you've been very involved. Aside from this, you've been involved with the chamber and other community groups, and want to recognize you for that. But I want to thank you for being such a great guest and joining us. And we're going to enjoy the video now, which will be showing, and that'll be followed immediately by our next guest, which will be Bill Brace, who's a Vietnam era veteran. So, Jackie, thank you for being my guest.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. I'm Jacqueline Cassagnol. I am the proud founder and president of Worldwide Community First Responder. Worldwide Community First Responder is a 501c3 nonprofit organization with a mission to prevent deaths worldwide through education and training.
There's not a single nonprofit in our area or anywhere that could accomplish its mission without volunteer power. So Volunteer New York is happy to help direct volunteer power to WCFR and other nonprofits in our area to make sure that they are ready and can deliver on their challenges of their communities to the best of their ability.
Our health education is focused on educating community members on how to stay healthy. And our training program is focused on educating community members on first aid and first response.
I feel great about donating to WCFR because they're such a great organization. Jackie is just so wonderful. I think she's just doing such a great job, and I think donating will help them, give them the tools to continue saving lives. When I was 10 years old, I almost drowned. And if that person didn't know CPR, I wouldn't be here today. So I think what's WCFR is doing such a great job in it's so simple, just teaching others to save lives. I mean, it can't get any better than that.
Every day, innocent lives are lost due to tragic events around the world. WCFR was founded to train community members how to provide first aid and first response. With your help, WCFR has trained over 250,000 people worldwide how to save lives.
2 years ago, I had taken the hands-only CPR class here at WCFR. Fortunately, I was able to implement some of the things that I learned at the Palisades Center Mall. A gentleman passed out, and everybody was just standing around in the food court, and nobody was doing anything. And I knew what I had to do. I felt confident, and I was able to implement because I knew I had taken the class. I was ready.
In 2010, after the Haiti earthquake, I went there to do a training. One of the students stood up and said, if only we knew what you're teaching us right now, fewer people would have died during the earthquake. I knew then I had to continue doing this type of work. That's how WCFR was started.
Several years ago, I decided to sponsor the worldwide community first responder after I realized the quality of the work that they were doing. There are different ways that you can help out, not only by attending those gala, which is like a fundraising type of activity, but by really sponsoring certain activities. Because one thing that's certain, pretty soon we're going to get another Harvey, another Irma, and people have to be ready. And I think that the WCFR is maybe the best organization out there to confront those challenges. It's a pleasure to be recognized and honored by such a formidable organization.
Thank you, WCFR, for teaching us to save lives and to be a lifesaver.
Thank you to WCFR for what you're doing in the community.
Thank you, WCFR, for all that you do to make sure that we are better prepared to face anything that life throws at us.
We want to train over 300,000 people in 2018. You can help WCFR by becoming a member, by becoming a volunteer, by donating, and by sponsoring our events and activities.
Help save lives. Donate to WCFR.
Be prepared for the next disaster. Learn hands-only CPR.
Help WCFR by sponsoring.
Help WCFR by volunteering.
Thank you for helping WCFR.